This is my focus group for Undercover Studios. A film poster is a very important aspect for a film's promotion. What would be the best colour scheme for my genre, which is crime thriller? What sort of example, like dark grey, gloomy, what would you think?
Yeah.
Like
I'd agree with the dark colours.
Is there any reason?
Well, when that's a crime thriller, yeah, a lot of the time, you know, the whole violence and all that going on during it, yeah, that's like, it's going to add a negative tone to the entire scene of it. So, yeah, I'd say go with dark colours, because bright colours, you're giving off a happy feel, yeah, and there's nothing really that happy going on.
Yeah, true.
And also like colours like dark red and stuff, like show blood or something, because it's going to be like a crime.
And during a film trailer, would it be a good idea to include a voice explaining the plot, or would it be good to have a mix of voiceover and characters speaking rather than whilst the voiceover speaks? Would you like to have a mix?
A mix.
No voiceover.
No voiceover at all?
Because a mix can get confusing, like, between them.
Okay, should we vote on this one?
Well, there's no point doing a vote, you've just got to say what you think. Do
But-
you think the vote?
I think both.
But do you not think that a voiceover would be quite nice because
Explains
it's easier to explain the plot in the trailer like, without giving away too much, and it can increase tension and that.
Yeah, but then you just have to limit the amount that the characters say.
Oh yeah.
And also make sure it sounds professional, because if it's just someone just talking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't sound a bit cheesy.
don't just have like one of Oslotch there, like, it was a dark night.
Yeah.
1939.
Yeah. And during the trailer, would it be wise to have still shots of characters where their real names come up and shows who the character is? For example, Johnny Depp as John Dillinger, like in Public Enemies.
I think
still
near
shot.
the end, I think
Yeah,
near the
yeah,
end
so
it's
towards
a
it,
good
yeah,
idea,
towards it,
yeah,
yeah.
the trailer,
Just
yeah.
before it
I
comes
agree
up
with
with the
Gibbs.
final
Yeah.
title.
Yeah.
At the beginning you have like the producers or any of that like made by the same people as whatever at the beginning. When you talk about actors, they'll go more near the end.
Yeah.
So our production company is called Undercover Studios, and we would like it to become as big as the likes of Universal, Warner Brothers, etc. So is it best to visually show it on the trailer, magazine, and poster, or would you leave that out? What's your opinion?
What do you mean, like the leadership?
Would you put the logo on there, like would you have it come up like at the beginning of the film?
I put it on the trailer, because it's generally always there. It's generally like an introduction.
General convention sort of thing.
Well, you want a
Yeah,
logo of the film or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like stamping your logo?
But what would you think on the magazine cover? Would you stamp your Undercover Studios? Like, would you have that in the little corner, something just to keep that visible,
Not the
so people
logo,
know?
but if it was on a magazine, you could one of the like titles could be like this new breakout production team. So like
Yeah.
relate it back.
Yeah. So, as you often associate crime thrillers with guns and money, and almost in every film nowadays, there's pretty women. Do you think it's necessary to visually express this in our trailer, magazine, and poster, or maybe only one or two of them?
One or two.
Yeah,
So there's a bit
one or
more
two.
mystery. So when the viewer goes to see it, they're like, oh, well, then it's not just what I thought the trailer
Yeah.
was.
And on a magazine cover and poster, should we include actors' names so we can introduce the role before the film trailer is released?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And do you think should we have a website for a fan base which we can use to show extra film information and leak footage for the upcoming blockbuster?
It's not really necessary, but you could do. It depends how far you want to go with it. Because if you've already got trailer, magazine, poster, web page isn't a necessity.
Just do social media, like a Facebook page or a Twitter page,
Yeah.
rather than like a whole website dedicated to
Do
it.
you think that would attract more of an audience?
Yeah, your audience are going to be
Yeah.
quite.
So the locations are an important factor in a film trailer, and it is wise to have a lot of them. Should we use places such as parks, pubs, alleys, back streets, expensive houses, etc.? What do you think?
Don't make it too cliche, but yeah.
And what do you have any other suggestions on what we could use?
Like,
for locations?
I feel like the word pleasure is brutal.
Where's it? What is it set in London?
Set in London, yeah.
Couldn't you take it out of the
Landmarks
city?
in London.
Yeah, well, you could. But would you want it? Because obviously you want it to be quite tense. Because obviously it's a crime thriller. Do you think that you need to choose gritty locations, sort of dark, gritty locations?
Like
It has more of an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, my old fans.
And like you see in films where like down by the river and stuff, and underneath the River Thames or something like that, and it's dark
Yeah,
and something could
it's
happen there.
typical where it
like that.
works.
But do you think it would be too cliche, too typical?
No,
Just
like,
don't overdo it.
Nah.
Use them
Small
like
amounts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
use them
sparingly.
generally.
Use them sparingly.
And what about costumes? Because that's an important aspect across all parts of our promotion plan. So what sort of costuming would be best for our genre? Example, like old-timer suits and trilbies, or suits and t-shirts, or more modern gangster sort of type of clothing like baggy jeans, white tees and jewellery.
When is it set?
That's thing. We haven't really decided the actual setting of when it's going to be yet, but we're looking to see a bit more modern. But you could influence some of the old stuff into a more modern film, couldn't you?
You can still go for like suits and stuff,
Yes.
and then bring it in with like
Yeah.
kind of like hoodies and stuff.
So our film is sort of based on a money lending sort of drug deal thing. So what do you think's best? Would you think old-timer suits or just modern clothing?
A lot of the time they just be dressed normally, like the people, the drug dealers and all that. They just
Yeah.
gonna dress normally.
And what about the Don, innit, the Lord of the Manor?
He's got to have
Yeah,
something special.
He's got to have something
You should
special.
be dressed in a suit, something different to other people.
Yeah.
Cool.
And in a trailer, how much of the film plot should we give away in the trailer? So would it be nice to leave everything to the audience's imagination, so when it actually
You
gets
can give away
released?
some in a crime thriller because, like, it's not the same as with horror. A lot of it's down to mystery. You can give away some with a crime thriller, but don't give away too much.
Give away
Otherwise,
like the basic plot,
Yeah.
so the audience thinks, oh, I like that kind of.
But then
genre.
keep the subplots sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the lighting during the film trailer is necessary, but would you rather it dark and gloomy or bright and well-defined image? Or would it be nice to have a mixture of both throughout the trailer? So some good times and some bad
Depending on
times.
what characters are on screen.
Yeah.
Like,
And on the main character, so the Don, would you think facial hair would be a main characteristic for his character? Would you think it would enhance the boldness of the main guy? So I think it would be a wise thing to have.
Yeah, if you've got a bit, he's going to think, oh, he's quite old. Quite
Yeah,
wise.
you think he's more dominant and in
Experience,
control.
Yeah.
So it would be a good idea to do that. And last question. Whilst trying to create the image in our film trailer, should we include writing in it which explains the date of when it's set and where in the world or country it's happening, and give us a heads up of certain characters or happenings that would create a little side story or lead up to the obvious main plot?
do you mean like on-screen graphics, like?
Yeah, so you see in films and they say they have a little line just introducing the plot
Yeah.
or something like that, and then
Like
they
the
say
Purge trailer, it's
in-
like America, a nation reborn, and then it has.
yeah, and then it has the date or something like that.
Yeah, those can be.
Could that be a good idea?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.